This is the kind of stuff that I love. This is a 4.2k scrim that was submitted on a Discord server, taking a look at a Hanzo player playing here on the first round on Ilios. I think that there's a lot to be learned from this, both for him as an individual player, but also for everybody else watching. This is hopefully, yet one, it's a higher elo game than what a lot of people are used to, and two, more importantly, it's a scrim, so it's a little bit more structured. There's a little bit more of that. There's a little bit different stuff that we can talk about and focus on, as this is a more coordinated effort, and we can focus far more about how team play works. This was submitted by Sikara, I think it's pronounced, and he says, I mainly wanted the review because I am new to scrimming in high elos and often feel pretty lost as to what to do, so a little help would be huge. And this is the elo that I have been consulting in for a very long time. Even when I was working with contenders or contenders teams, and when I was kind of in that space, I, before and also during and a little bit after, consulted both 4.2 and higher teams that were like an open division, tier 3 teams that wanted to go into trials, people that were in trials for contenders. I worked around in that elo a lot. And I think that there's a lot for this Hanzo to learn. I'm very excited, so let's really just jump into it. Well, hello, my beautiful and lovely gamers. As always, my name is Jonal, and we'll be taking a look at this Hanzo. And mainly we will take a look at a couple of things. Him being active or him not being active, essentially how we can activate this Hanzo far more. We need to understand a little bit more about how match flow works, how your positioning should be, your usage of your vision arrows, a little bit actually about your aim, about how you take your shots and how you can take them a little bit easier, and hopefully improve accuracy outside of just standard aim training, which is important to know. This is a little bit more about aiming techniques and a little bit of mentality stuff to hopefully make your shots a little bit more stable. I think this is very interesting about. Of course, a like on the video helps greatly against YouTube's algorithm, so thank you guys for everybody that does that. Helps greatly support the channel. Same go for comments. Drop down what heroes. Do you want to see more scrims like this? Do you want to see more high elo gameplay? Or what rank do you want to see? Every comment down helps against the algorithm, and also helps kind of give me a guideline about what I should pick. When I look at submissions for these kind of videos, I look at the comment section before to kind of get like a feeling of what people want to watch, and then I can pick something that will help people. So if you want to see more scrims, stuff like that, down that comment section, and I will definitely take a look at more stuff like that. Of course, if you want your own gameplay on the channel, go to our Discord server, which is linked down in the description, together with my Twitter and my Twitch. There's something called coaching submissions with a pinned message. You read the pinned message, you kind of fill out that little form, drop in your replay code, and you submit it. And there, from after that, hopefully you will get featured in an upcoming episode. Now, of course, if you want to improve, rank up, and get better at the game fast, you want to hire me as your private coach, also support me and the channel financially, it's €50 for a 2-hour session. You can just hit me up privately in our Discord server, link down in the description as always. But with no further ado, let's really just begin. The team composition that we are looking at here is kind of cool, actually. It's essentially a dive comp. Remember that we are the red team, so just remember that if you see red team, that's us. We're playing this kind of, we're playing against a dive comp essentially with like a Tracer and Echo and Zen for Discord, a little bit of a break, and then a Ball and a Diva. And then we're playing this far more stronger main group style, right? We have a McCree, we have a Hanzo, and we have a Hog with the Ball. So the Ball kind of will move around the map. The Hog can be used to establish a far more deeper presence anywhere, right? You can put your Hog really anywhere on the map. For example, you can go out here, take your Hog. You can just kind of like, if your Hogs are playing up here, for example, this becomes a far more contested area because you can just hook anybody. He can hook people and he can really easily zone out. And that's kind of what you will see with this team comp. Because you have Hanzo, McCree, and Bob, you have a lot of zoning, have a lot of range, a lot of damage. Really, really scary stuff to be playing against if you are an enemy team while your ball is beaming around on the map, like balls do. Now, I think that the easiest thing is actually just to kind of get into this. So we're going to get straight up the door, just kind of not like that. There we go, straight at the door. Put this in double speed. Just making sure stuff like that. We're going to take the high ground and stuff like that. In here, early game, you can just immediately, you're getting a little bit of scouting information. You can just immediately get a sonar onto here. He will drop it in a couple of seconds. Just do it fast. kind of easy, right? That way we get it back pretty quickly and we get a lot of info about like who is over here. Now, how your team is going to play is hopefully something that you guys have talked about, like how you guys want to play this map. If not, that's a conversation that you maybe should have, at least have a standard plan, not a brute force plan, because if you brute force plans, they normally never work, but have it like a standard, like we will try to play like this, and then we see what happens. Here you can just take some shots and pop shots at it, and see what happens, just kind of waiting for something to kind of go. They managed to kill your ball, which is pretty bad. You will claim all this space here, and by now, you gotta start remembering stuff like this. Your hog is already dropped, and for some reason, your McCree is far back here. I don't know if he's looking for tracers or what he's doing, but you want to start establishing some kind of presence here. Right, so you want to make sure there's 3 people currently on this high ground. This D.Va, who is waiting for point unlock. Their ball is kind of jumping around. Their echo is really low. They have a tracer established over here. You want to start taking parts of this map away from them. This Zenyatta, which you will focus on quite a lot, is not that important as of yet. What's important is securing mid and securing their entrance to the objective. If you guys can make sure that they will put their tanks on here. They can put the ball on there. They can put the D.Va on there. They can even get the, their 2 DPSs on it pretty fucking easily. And that's fine. But the rest of them, like this Zenyatta, for example, who's stuck up here, they will have to peel in. And if they can peel him in, that's fine. But you want to make sure that they will have to peel him in. And if not, then he will be stuck up here. If he tries to move out onto the midsection, tries to rotate onto the point alone, he should be punished. If they want to play outside of the objective, which a lot of people like to do, like they like to play outside of here, right, giving them a lot more angles, they should be punished. You guys have a McCree, you guys have you on Hanzo, so it's your job as a Hanzo player here to, 1, currently in the early game, harass. This ball should never be full health. You should try to harass the D.Va, you should try to see if you can get some stuff done, kind of weakening them as much as possible, and help your hog secure this area around the point. This is where the fight will be going on, so that's where you need to focus. One of the really great stuff is, for example, you can start establishing yourself closer to here. When we start to move to point unlock, right, which we're currently waiting for, you kind of went here in the beginning, this is fine. I know that you will be pushing, because I watched the VOD before I made this video. I know you will be pushing here, which is kind of weird, because if you start moving up here, and the fight is happening over here, then you're not really a part of this. And you're doing it because you want to kill the Sen, but you're trying to kill a Sen in a brig, instead of just helping, playing over here, help your ball is dead, but helping your hog, and your brig, and your bub. I don't have a brig token, there we go. Right, helping these guys, who will be playing around this objective, helping these guys claim the point instead. And if the Zenyatta is up here alone, then he can be useless up there alone. He can get some discos all, but he doesn't really have good line of sight. If you want to drop, then you can kill him. But if not, then he can just be up there. You especially, as we're talking a lot about you, but you and the McCree, the Baptiste as well, you guys can just rain in damage in here and make sure that their D.Va is constantly low, which is a super easy target to burn down. That if their ball is doing something, he gets punished with a shit ton of damage. Right? Keep a lot of pressure. They don't have a lot of heals. They have Brig and Sen. You guys can quickly just burn down their tanks. Right? We're talking about playing objectives. That is the important part. On the King of the Hill, we wait for point unlock, and then it's objective play. And we need to secure the area around the objective to try to allow them to not enter without taking damage. If they want to play outside of the objective, a lot of time, especially with the team gun that we have here with so much range, we want to make sure if they want to play outside of the objective, they take a lot of damage. If they want to play inside the objective, we shoot into them. Therefore denying them. They can't stay outside because we have so much range on them. They can't stick it low. They want to go inside and play there and be quote-unquote safe. And we start getting a lot of angles on them. They can't stack all 6 players in here. The Sen will be left outside. If the Sen is inside, then we can start getting a bunch of angles on them. That's how we want to play this. You need to focus on your positioning here as a Hanzo can help secure this area. We care about the objective. We don't care about these kills over here, which currently have no value. They are not doing anything on that high ground currently that is of risk to us, right? It's same would be if there was a soldier. As long as we, for some reason, don't want to play here, where this high ground has like insane overview and can spam us, as long as we're not focusing on that, then that is fine. We get the objective, we can play from there, and then we'll kind of take that from where it goes. But you're gonna go here and you're gonna start pushing a lot. right? This is fine, you get some damage on, but then you land here, and what happens now if the D.Va decides you do have your break up here, but if the D.Va and the rest of the team now, these three now just start rotating, then you push like 3 players on the point here, plus these 2 plus the ball. Now we're already starting to talk about them claiming the objective while you guys are just out here alone. Your hog is alone, he dies, right? If they push now, they kill your hog, then they take the point, then they have the point, right? You're currently not doing anything by playing over here, right? And you kind of falling back here, getting the arrow, and then kind of pushing up, right? Going here, right? Now you have to try to like 2v1, right? Then you kind of spend a long time like trying to push here. And while this is going on, there's a bunch of fighting on the objective where you should be present. Now, luckily for you, your team pops the fuck off. Like your Kree gets a couple of kills and so on. And you're not really doing much, right? The break starts rotating, so sure, you kind of stop her from doing it, but the team fight is already won. If they had killed your team there, or they had gotten both your tanks or something like that, and if your team hadn't popped off there, you slowing down the break that much didn't really do much of a difference. And the worst part is, like, you tried to somehow, like, stall their Zenyatta, but their Zenyatta went to here. So you had this really secured, and you pushed, and then they were like, okay, let's just rotate to the point. Now, it was already lost because your team popped the fuck off, but you as a Hanzo didn't really do much because there wasn't really any space that you denied, right? Remember how space works in Overwatch. It's super, it's very advanced when you come to high, low, and blah, blah, blah. But in theory, it's incredibly easy. Like, claiming space, it's just you saying, okay, we have... it's so much easier to explain this with a Reinhardt. Let's try to explain it with this, even though it's a little bit more abstract, right? So we have, you know, let's just put your hog like out here. Let's put you like, yeah, sure, we can put you over here. Let's say here. So let's just play something like this, okay? You have a McCree on the bottom of the high ground here, and your players are here. So let's say that you are essentially just saying, okay, we have so and so many players on the objective. You put your players on the objective. We have X amount of damage here, so we can deal, you know, so and so much damage on the objective, and we have, you know, 2 tanks here with a lot of healing and sustain, right? So they will take, let's say, you know, what they can tank a Y amount of damage, right? That is their health pools plus healing abilities plus healing from your support, right? And then you will say, if you stand, you know, in this area here, then we will deal, you know, X amount of damage to you. And then the enemy team needs to match that. So they need to say, okay, but we have, you know, we have our tank, so we have a fucking Ryan, I don't know, right? We have a Ryan and his team, right? This is like 6 players, right? This is 6 players running in a death ball. And they're going to rotate like this, and they're going to put themselves on the point. Then they're going to say, yeah, we are now on the point with a Ryan. We're up close. We have our players, you know, we might have a DPS here. We might have some supports here. We have a Zarya here, right? Stuff like that. And then they will say, we do X amount of damage. We can take X amount of damage. Now, Y amount of damage. And then it's essentially a pissing contest. Who can deal the most damage? Who has the best sustain? Right? Individual place comes into here if you can headshot somebody, right? But that's how you deal space. So if you move way over here, then your damage just dropped because your Hanzo is out memeing, right? If you're over here while this is happening, then you're not doing anything in this team fight, and they can just push out your players, right? And then it's like, okay, we don't have enough to break his shield. We don't have enough to nuke their Rhine or their Zarya. They have Reaper, right? We don't have anybody that can deal with the Reaper good enough, right? Stuff like that, right? And then they will get the objective. And as soon as they get the objective, they won. When they have the objective, they are winning. They're just constantly ticking up percentages here. So we need you to be over here so you can help fight on the point, help deny the outside of the point, stuff like that. And if they want to have a Widowmaker over here, then she's not a worry to you yet. When she starts pushing up and she starts like landing here and like starting to get good line of sight onto your players, then she's a problem because now she's actually doing something. But before that, she's not really helping in the team fight. They're not really doing anything that's unimportant. So let's just kill their team. Now we won here. You want to drop vision arrows here a little bit early if possible. That way you can hopefully get some vision on where the enemy team is pushing. On top of that, yeah, this is I'm unsure of this angle. I suppose you're trying to do some crazy shit. I would like you to just be able to harass this or get some vision somewhere so you knew that this push is coming. If you could do that, like if you could have a vision over here and get some shots off, I think that would be really great. The only good thing about this is they can push under you and you can sit and shoot down at them. That's like the one thing that's really good with this position. You can also get that nice angle that you have there onto alleyway. This is fine. And this is like really good. And this is something that people should kind of note. Notice how, again, he pushes close, which is really, really good. Now, he could give a lot of space here, but giving space to a dive team is really scary. Because if you back off here, then you're essentially allowing the enemy team to stage, right? You allow their ball to come around, the Trace to come around from the back, and the D.Va to, and the rest of the team to kind of take this high ground and then go in. And because he's the Hanzo, he's the only one that really have good high ground control. So they can quickly stage from here, and then they can dive him. So by him pushing close, it becomes actually far more difficult because he can climb up and down, up and down, up and down, and keep pressuring, keep poking down the D.Va, keep looking for picks. This is actually really, really good. And notice, once again, that this is fine, because notice how we have this like a line of skirmish here. They start pushing out here, we have so many angles on them, right? We can deal so much damage. They want to kind of push into the objective, which is what they need to do. We are winning currently. They want to push into the objective here. We can deny, we can fight you on the high ground. You want to drop from the high ground, we can fight you down here. We have a Brig, we have a Hog close here who can hook you. We have Baptiste on the high ground who's really difficult to get to, who can heal us and deal damage. Hanzo is close to line up some shots, and if the Hanzo backs off, they need to chase him through the Hog, the Brig, the Ball. The Bob can see him, the Kree is far away, a little bit far away in my opinion, because I don't know how effective it is there, but whatever, right? And that's the good stuff. Like, that's what we want to see. You're playing around your team, you're denying space, they want to fucking go anywhere, they get fucking yoinked by your Hog like that. It's beautiful. This is what we want to see. Here you're going to keep harassing, keep poking, right? Just keep bullying the Brig. This is the kind of stuff that I want to talk a little bit about. You need to calm down a little bit. Sometimes when you're shooting, I see that you're kind of doing a lot of these flicks, and you a lot of time flicking off your target. So a lot of time you have the shot, and I don't know if it's stress, and it might be because you said that you feel a little bit like you're new to scrimming in this high elo and stuff like that. So it might be stress, but you're flicking and moving off your target lock with your crosshair. I need you to calm down a little bit when you're taking some of these shots. Just line them up and be confident with them and relax. You stressing won't help anything. You stressing about your aim or whatever will just make everything worse. So try to, again, I don't know if that's the case. This is why I like private coaching more than YouTube coaching, because I can't talk with the guy. But hopefully, if you calm down a little bit, that would be great. And also, if you start pre-aiming corners, that would also be really, really good. Instead of kind of looking, like, for example, this, right? If you're gonna do this climb, because you can climb and then you can peek this if you for some reason want to. I still think that it's a little bit of a weird angle to try to take, but whatever, right? If you're gonna do it, then it's always good if you pre-aim whatever you want to shoot, right? This is also a super late sonar, right? It's very like game sense wise, you should have known that it is gone such a long time since you wiped them that they have already started pushing. So they are much closer. You should know that by game sense. 2, your team has been doing this. I don't know what your comms are like, but it's clearly that they're chasing a ball, and you need to now make sure, because you're alone, that you don't get caught here, right? You're kind of not really doing much here. I don't know why they backed off without telling you. This is logically suicide. They are rotating while you're jumping down. You had a high ground. You could shoot down on them. It's not your job to physically stop them. Your job is to keep up close so you can land easy shots. You want to be close because your shots are easy, but your job is not to fight them there. Your job is to sit on that high ground, and if they want to chase you, they will have to boost up to the high ground, and then you can jump left and hopefully play from there, right? But I don't know why your team got a rotation back here and you didn't follow. It might be because you were looking into a wall and climbing up and down trying to shoot in here instead of having a vision and then being more active in this area. That might have been the thing. Again, look around you, pre-aim, look where the enemy team is gonna be. I don't really understand the whole point of that position that you have there, because it doesn't really seem like it benefits you a lot. This fight is lost by far. When you send off the dragon, you are 2 players alive. Only one of them is the ball. They have their entire team except 1. Your dragon won't do anything. You hold it, you wait for next fight. The good thing about dragon, and especially like dragon high noon, you can high noon and then you can dragons right there that they're hiding at, forcing them out. For example, you can do a lot with dragons, right? You can also start contesting the objective, and then you can dragon across the objective to force them to move out of it, for like giving you guys ticks and forcing them away from the objective into a line of sight of you and the McCree. You can do a lot of with dragons, right? You can dragon a high ground to force them off the high grounds. You can do a lot with dragon. It's really important that you don't waste this here. In this elo, Dragon Strike logically doesn't do much when it comes to kills outside of gravitons, unless you can time it really well with pushes. And these guys are playing very mobile heroes. But what you can do with Dragon Strike is that you can force positioning. You can force them away from areas. You can force them into different areas, which is good. Nice kill onto her. Nice pressure onto the ball. This is what we want, right? This is really, really good. Now you just need to play with your team. As the ball went out, you know your team is going to start advancing left. Unfortunately, your Kree got picked, but you're going to start advancing left. You want to push in this way with them. So you and the break want to kind of move this way to kind of help collapse this, right? So you guys are kind of like surrounding them and hitting them from multiple angles, but not so far that you guys are split alone. You guys want to play so you guys can help with this team fight. So flanking all the way left here is stupid. Then you're all the way in the back line. They push your team loses. So you just want to kind of come in from this side here now and start pressuring out whatever's going on with this objective. For example, there's a Sen hiding behind here, trying to duck this line of sight. If you can get that line of sight from here, you can hopefully snipe him, force him to go left, or back the fuck off, right? Stuff like that, right? This is why we're denying space. You constantly off angle, constantly pressuring them. Yeah, this is a late sonar. Okay, yeah, that's you misplaying that. Just quickly just drop that on the wall. You know he has wall hacks on you. You need wall hacks on him, and try to play from it. Standing still there and hard scoping is not the smartest thing when he has his Discord on you. You jump back here. You can sonar close. Yeah, like that. Good job. I would have sonared more to the right because I would be scared of the right side, but whatever. You're trying to pressure the ball. That's fine. It's kind of working, kind of not. Whatever. You hit some shots. Good job. Now you want to vision. Again, they're playing Tracer. You can either vision top here if you want to wonder. So you can like vision down here at the bottom. That way you can kind of see if there's somebody there. You can vision parts of tower, or you can vision your right side. One of those three are very viable vision spots, right? This will deny Tracer flanks and ball flanks. This is to see if somebody's there, and this is to see if somebody's here. I like to drop one here because I want to know if people are on high ground. Or I would drop the right side to make sure that there's not a Tracer there. That's an insane shot. That's like fucking crazy. So much so I want to do it in slow-mo. It's beautiful. That's like, look at this. And oof. Now that's a fucking feels bad, man. What the fuck is this black thing? Holy shit, is there blood in? What? Oh, it's because it's blue team problem. I have never seen that. Oh my god, I hit like right. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful shot. That's a beautiful shot. But really inconsistent, right? Here you can drop, right when, for example, this happens, when you're this so close, you can just drop one here. Right, at this point, you guys are pushing out. Notice again, positioning stuff. Right, you guys are moving like this. You guys want to now shift left onto the point here. So you guys want to move this way onto the objective. Start by claiming that space. You sonar here so you can see who's there, and then you guys start just rotating and taking the objective from them, forcing them to retake it from you. Yeah. Send this one, he's gonna trance. Your Valkyrie is gonna high noon, they're gonna hide. This is potentially here you could jump back and then you could dragon strike her or something like that. It's fine that you don't, you're just kind of like poking, looking for what's gonna happen. You're gonna dragon like this. I'm not sure. Okay. I would have, ideally, logically, we want it to happen from this corner to that corner, because that way we deny more of the point. That would be the ideal way of doing this Dragon Strike. I don't know if you fling it there for a specific reason. Or if it was just like, I need to get this point, the dragon onto the point. Number two, it looks like you're holding down your fire button when you're doing rapid fire. Please tap it. That way you're using the mechanics that you have instead of just spamming. Right here, look at this. Just look at this. You are you're shooting a max fire rate. All you need to do here is to hold it there. Then you flick off him. Then you miss. Then you miss. Right? And then you miss again. And he wasn't even close to your crosshair. It is very, very clear that you are holding down your... It looks like you're holding or spam tapping your fire button. Please just click it. Please just slow down here. It's incredibly easy to hit this guy. All you need to do is really strafe. He's not even looking at you. Right? You didn't even see him there in the end. So just calm down with your shots. And I think everything would be so much better. Here you guys are coming in here. Same with just here, and this is just like another thing that I want to point out. When you're taking the shot at the Sen here in the end, right? Instead of having to aim with your arm here, all you need to do is you need to put this on the corner, and then go A, and then counter with your right mouse button. So you don't need to actually flick here, right? You try to like hit this flick. You knew where he was. You just needed to put it on the. You can just strafe into him and then release. You don't actually need to aim. You just need to counteract your movement and keep it here, and then you just need to release. You don't need to move your arm. You can just aim by moving sideways here. That way you shot, like, there's no reason to make this more difficult than it has to be, right? Why do I need to flick it if I can just, like, aim it? This is fine. Like, this is where, you know, this is the stuff that we wanted to see from the beginning, right? Where you're kind of playing this outside of the point. Look how much damage you're doing. You pick the bomb in the end there. That's kind of sad. But outside that, look how much, you know, how much pressure you're forcing them. You're doing so much damage here. This is great. This is the kind of Hanzo gameplay we want to see. Look how active you are. You're missing some shots, but that's fine. You demagged. You fucked up their tanks. You're dominating this teamfight currently. Then you miss some shots. Tracers are notoriously difficult to hit. I would have liked you pushing up here is a high risk, high reward kind of type of thing, right? You were playing really, the reason, like this part of the map here is really safe. You have corners here, you have corners here, and corners here. They come out left, you go right, and then you can kite them. Or as Hanzo, you can actually, if you get pushed from this side, you can jump off and climb up again. And that way you take a lot of time off where your team can come and help you. So this is like a really, really nice position to play from. When it comes to, then you're playing here, you're doing some damage, this is fine. Try to hit this guy. Try to hit that guy, right? But then you start like pushing out here to take the diva. And now you can see how again you're leaving your cover and you're exposing yourself really, really like a lot. And you're also moving away from this fight. You're gonna keep on fighting, keep on fighting. Here we want you to come back in here as much as possible. You can quickly just walk in on the point here and play inside the point. It will keep you safer because you can move back here and back here, right? Instead of you doing what you do and that's strafing out here when you know respawns are coming. Right? So strafing out here doesn't really gain you many other angles except they gain you this one. So you can go into the objective. It's not like there's a Winston in here or anything that you're scared of. You go into the objective here or something similar and you can start doing a lot of the same impact that you have, just a little bit safer. Right? That way you don't get caught out here. And now you don't have really that much movement you can do. That gets you picked off. The Lucio gets some of yours. The Tracer kills another one. You tries to kill the third one, fucking popping the fuck off, right? Yeah, and this is lost effect. Right? So, keeping yourself active. Making sure you play around your team and you understand where the match flow is. Stop leaving your team play around that, deny that space for the enemy team, and know where your team is fighting. That's the important part, right? A lot of time when I was coaching some teams, instead of like saying, you know, a lot of them would have like, you know, a 5-step plan. Like we go here, 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 here. And that a lot of time becomes really messy because the enemy team will do stuff, right? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Instead, like their tank will start saying, I'm going to go left side. And now we know where our tanks are going to play. And then we play around that. Okay, I'm going to push to the objective. I'm going to push right side. I'm going to take high ground. I'm going to rotate here. Our main tank would start calling like where he's going and what he's doing. And then the DPSs and the supports and the off tank could play around that. Could start like playing around where our main tank wanted our team to be. It's a really good way to kind of make sure, because your main tanks, your tanks in this case, because you have ball and hog, kind of choose where you guys are fighting. If you want to have a ball here and a hog over here, okay, then this is the side of the point that you guys are starting to fight on. You now need DPSs and all the damage sources and healing sources to kind of surround this area so you can fight in that. That's the important part. Keeping yourself far more active. Stop looking at walls and into this thing. Just keeping more active. Sonar early. Get that information so you know where the enemy teams are. It helps with your planning. Make sure you don't get caught out, which you didn't here, which was really great. It was good to see that you didn't get caught out a lot by their dive teams. I just need to be far more active and play far more around your team. And try to slow down your shots a little bit and start aiming a little bit more with your movement instead of always trying to aim with your arm all the time when the shot can be far more easier. Besides that, like, comment, subscribe. We are almost at 20,000 subscribers. We're like 400 away. Subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. The support is so much needed. I would wish that we could hit 20,000 subscribers before the end of 2020. That would make my year a little bit better. So thank you guys so much. If you want to hire me as a private coach, again, 50 euros per 2 a session. Hit me up in Discord down below. But I'll stop rambling. Please take care of yourself. Stay positive. I love you guys very much. Please wear a mask and be good through this. Tell somebody that you love them. As always, my name has been Jonal, and you guys keep the enemy in your crosshair.